I think so it's nice to talk about dividends, something that's, sort of like, people like Warren Buffett have been doing for, decades and decades and decades. Cause, I feel like everyone, all they want to do is talk about, AI and sort of Bitcoin and, growth, right? But, in your portfolio, when you construct a portfolio, you should have diversification, right? That's sort of what we preach to our financial advisors. So, a lot of the core of your portfolio could be in, something that looks like low cost index beta. But, if you think about your traditional 60/40, you shouldn't put, all 60% in low cost beta. You should have diversified factors, diversified sectors. So, dividends, which have been largely ignored, the last 2, 3 years as we've had this, epic AI induced rally. But you really want to load up these two ETFs into a portfolio construction tool. You could use Bloomberg Port, Tom Athan's firm, or something like a Vanguard, which is free for advisors. So when you load it up, you kind of see like how these things shape up. From like a style box standpoint, valuation standpoint. We principally at Astoria, we're a high conviction asset manager. We don't like using, we like more concentrated portfolios. So FDVV sort of fits our style box, right? 100 securities. The ETFs that we manage, PPI, for instance, has like 60 securities. ROE has like 100. So I don't like buying like big blocks, sort of like DGRO, which has, 398 securities. What Tom also was alerting to, I think makes a lot of sense, right? Where do you want to be in terms of like, sectors, right? So we like tech. We like tech a lot. So, FDVV, has more tech exposure, which I think is very interesting. So, I do like FDVV. We'll talk about performance in a second, which is, not even like, FDVV sort of blows out DGRO out of the water. So I'm going to be sort of partial to FDVV in this conversation. So purely from like a exposure standpoint, I like what FDVV is doing. So I'm going to give that as a category winner.